Hey, how you doing? My name is Adam Gargano. For this week's module discussion, I'll be talking about hurricane preparedness. Now, living in South Florida, we all know about hurricanes, but now I'm going to be just talking about this brief description of how they're formed, and then I'll get into the actual stocking up for the events prior to, during, and after the hurricane. So, we have first is the formation of the hurricanes itself. And they usually start out by a thunderstorm. Thunderstorms off the west coast of Africa. And what happens is, once these storms get into the Atlantic, if they do develop, um, they'll start to feed off the warm waters from the Atlantic. The cool winds from the storm itself will go underneath the warm waters, and they'll start to feed itself and gradually build strength. Um, if it does develop fully, the winds from the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere are actually going to make the hurricane actually spin. So it depends which way it goes, northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, and then it'll make up the way to the Atlantic Ocean, depending on which way the winds take it. You know, it can go wet into the Atlantic up north, or it can go straight up the coast with Florida and the southern, the eastern seaboard. Now, as you know, hurricane season lasts from June 1st to November 30th, so it's almost over. Um, Now, hurricanes have five categories, the strongest being Category 5 with winds of 156 miles an hour and over, and the lowest one is our Category 1 with hurricanes of winds of force winds of 74 to 95 miles an hour. Anything lower than that is going to be a tropical storm or tropical depression. Now, um, first is to know before a hurricane, you're going to get a hurricane warning or a hurricane watch. Now, the hurricane watch is usually about 48 hours out, and it's going to tell you that the hurricane is a possibility of making landfall within that time frame. Hurricane warning is going to be about 36 hours out, and that's saying that hurricane landfall is imminent. So things you can do before the hurricane season even starts. You can start planning evacuation routes. Start planning, where there's local shelters at. Also, start buying extra batteries, and also you want to think about having plywood. So in case you have to board up your windows, you don't already have storm shutters. Uh, One other thing is you can think about is trimming trees around your property, also bushes, so in case there's any high force winds, you won't get all that debris into your house or home. Um, During the actual hurricane itself, uh, you want to, or before actually, you want to make sure all your vehicles are filled with fuel. Also, make sure if you have any generators or anything like that, make sure they're filled with fuel. Um, Also, have a little bit of cash on hand, um, and also a first aid kit is always handy. Now, one thing you want to do, as far as like being prepared for the hurricane itself, you always want to stock up on water, at least 3 days worth, and you also want to make sure you have canned goods, non-perishable. Stock up for at least 3 days with that. Also, uh, lighters. Like I said before, extra batteries and a flashlight. Um, these are all great things to have. Now, also, one other thing to have is tools. Have your little shovel and a Gerber or a Leatherman is a great tool to have. It's all everything you need in there. And I just have a saw here and a portable light. These are all good. These are all pretty essential items that you would need in case of a hurricane. Now, one other thing, if you plan to stay in your home, um, make sure that you turn your fridge all the way up to maximum cold. Um, Also, unplug small appliances. Now, if there is a hurricane with strong winds itself, you want to make sure you stay away from windows and doors. And if you're in a two-story home, make sure you go into the first floor. first floor into your room. Now, if you're in a multi-story complex, you can also take cover in the hallway outside, the safe area, or underneath any kind of tables inside the home. Now, after after the hurricane, you want to make sure that you're always listening to the radio for updates. Also, you want to find out when it's safe to actually go outside. Don't just go outside on your own. Wait till you get it clear. Um, Make sure that you're going on firm, dry ground, uh, because the possibility of flooding. Um, Also, never walk near anywhere down power lines. Um, and also, one other thing to have is, which is a very good point, is to have a jug, or if you have a bathtub in your house, make sure you keep it filled with water. You can use this water not to drink, but to use for cooking. You don't want to use the water for cooking, uh, you know, right directly after a hurricane. Might not be safe to drink to have. So make sure you keep jugs of water separate for those purposes, separate from your actual drinking water. So that is my little presentation on hurricane preparedness. Hope you enjoyed it.